interview. It's only about 8 to 10 minutes, this interview. You'll be glad to know.
Okay.
We're going to do it as live.
Great.
Welcome to our studio.
Thank you.
Everybody, as usual, in the studio, please silence as soon as we say that we're going to record. Try not to kick your tea over.
Yes, not good with all electrical equipment, yeah.
Okay, fine. No, I'll hand over to Sam as long as the gallery are happy.
Alright. So yeah, as live, so we ask you all to please be quiet. If you've got phones, please turn them off so that we don't hear them during the production. And I'm going to do a countdown to start. 10, 9, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Bath Studio School and the latest in our series of student event interviews with real people.
We're very privileged to have Nicky Morgan, the Secretary of State for Education, visiting our school today. I'm Molly Rees.
And I'm Matt Singer.
So you've had a chance to look around our school. What do you think about what you've seen?
Well, first of all, good afternoon. It's lovely to be here, and I think it's fantastic, really inspirational. It's the first studio school that I have visited, and thanks to Ben Howlett for inviting me to come along this afternoon. And I think what's really impressed me is the way that all of you so far that I've met have got a real vision about the things that you enjoy doing, and also the work placements, the opportunity that the Fridays out offer in terms of seeing how the skills you're gaining here, how they're going to be really relevant to the workplace, and that's one of the things I'm passionate about as Secretary of State for Education.
We've got our own ideas on how the school works. Why do you think it's a good idea?
Well, I do think that actually one of the things I've said is that the government's plan for education, which is making sure that every child has a good local school to go to, but the schools also need to prepare our young people for life in modern Britain. And that obviously for most of us means getting a job eventually. And so actually that inspiration about the options that are open, we live in an amazing world. And just looking at that periodic table of apps, you know, an app designer didn't exist 10 years ago probably, or if it did, I certainly didn't know about it. And yet here are all these amazing new jobs that are out there and everything, and the inspiration. So I think what I can see here is that actually, as I say, the inspiration is there, what's out there, the excitement, and picking up all of the new skills. And by the sounds of it, many people are also telling the students they were at former schools, actually this is a really good decision they made to come here.
Yeah. Education policies have moved away from coursework towards final exams. Can you explain the thinking behind this?
Well, really it was because actually one of the things that we needed to do as a government was to make sure that our exams, we had what we call rigorous academic standards, so that actually when you turn up with a university or an employer and say actually here are my GCSEs and here are my A-levels, they have confidence that actually you have reached a really good standard in core subjects, things like English and maths and science and creative subjects as well. And so what we wanted was students to have the time to really study and to investigate and understand the subjects. And if you're continually thinking about the next coursework to be handed in, the next exam, the next assessment, I don't think that means you've got the time to study it in depth. And also your teachers are constantly thinking about the next assessment that they're having to do, the next obviously sets of really important marking. And again, they haven't got the time to spend making sure they're teaching you those subjects in depth. So that was the thinking behind it all. So if you've got the exams at the end of the 2 years, you can really get into the subject over the course of the 2 years.
We're really conscious that grades seem to be so important to schools, teachers and officials. Do you think there's too much emphasis on that and not enough on the individual's abilities and achievements?
I think sometimes we can see that. One of the things is that at the moment we tend to measure progress at GCSE level, in particular, obviously in relation to these grades A star to C, and that means there's an awful lot of focus sometimes on getting students over what we call the CD border. And so we're moving to something called Progress Aid, which is all about measuring students' progress in 8 core subjects, and that's a mixture again of some academic subjects, and then creative subjects can be added as well, so that we can see how students are progressing. So again, it's about more looking at how each student is doing, rather than actually having a focus purely on grades. Grades are important, there's no doubt about it, and again, employers and universities will look at the grades, but I think it is also important that we look at progress students make. And I'm also really passionate about having schools like this and others producing what I call well-rounded young people, because academic standards are of course important, but so too is having young people who are high self-esteem, confident, resilient, persistent. And actually, you know, if you don't get your dream job the first time round, you accept that setback and you go, okay, what do I need to learn in order to go and get it next time? And or if I don't get onto the course at university, how do I make sure that I get on that course the next time?
Talking to our peers, there's a lot of pressure on young people to make decisions about their futures early. Is it essential to know the path you want to follow at such a young age?
I do think it's essential, but I think what I want is that young people to start thinking about what interests them and what their passions are early on. I think sometimes we've seen, again, interested to know what students here think, but I think sometimes things like careers guidance can often kick in a bit too late, after students have made particularly decisions about the subjects they're going to study for exams. And so I think if you talk early on, and one of the things I've done is making sure we're having a new careers and enterprise company, which is employer-led. So, I mean, obviously you have real employer involvement here at the Studio School, but so employers can go into schools and they don't have to talk just about their own business, but they can say, look, if you want to be an engineer, or you want to be a doctor, or you want to be a scientist, or you want to be a gaming, you know, person who designs games, there's probably a technical title for that and I've just missed it, but actually, you know, you think about the subjects that you want. So don't, particularly for girls, I don't want girls deciding that certain subjects aren't for them too early on, and then only later they say, I wish somebody had told me that I needed to carry on studying science at a later stage.
We have a lot of creative students and minds here at the Bath Studio School, but generally in education and arts and creativity, they get a lot of bad press. How do you feel about creative subjects?
Well, I think they're essential. I think one of the things that we in our education system really has a huge strength in is the creativity of our students. I was sitting recently next to somebody from Singapore and he was talking about the fact that actually, yes, they get sort of high results in things like maths, but actually what they find they lack and what they come over and look at our education system for is that creativity, that sort of questioning and that wanting to learn differently that we have over here in the UK that sometimes other countries might not have. I was at a school earlier on today in Bristol and I was talking to the music teacher and he was talking about music and maths as a combination and they made a CD and that sort of thing, I think. So again, about keeping subjects open, I want students to feel, I mean, sometimes it will be obvious to a student, look, I'm just not very good at, you know, a creative subject or actually I am very good. But for many students, actually, making sure that the subjects they choose, there's a wide range. So again, they keep options open. So you want a bit of what I'd call sort of core academic subjects. It might be you're inspired by history or geography as well and sciences, but also there'll be many students for whom actually drama, music, art subjects, you know, absolutely is the thing that makes them passionate. And I don't want to see them dropping that.
University is going to cost us a lot of money. Is it still the best option over going straight into employment? And do you have any advice?
Well, I think, again, it really much depends what you want to do in life. So before I became a Member of Parliament, I was a solicitor, a lawyer. And you have to, at the moment, have to have a law degree in order to go and do that. So at some point, you're going to have to go to university. Having said that, we're developing apprenticeships in law as well. So I think it depends. There'll be some subjects, some careers that actually you think, yeah, I need to have a degree. But there'll be other areas where actually you think, no, apprenticeship is the right way to go. Actually, that means I'm going to be earning while I'm still learning. I'm going to get my foot in the door of a really good company and I'm going to get some great work experience. And for other people, actually, they'll get to the age of 18 and they'll think, you know what, I've had enough with education. Maybe I'll go back and do some studying later on, but actually I want to get into the world of work. And so what I want to see is schools and colleges advising students about the best path for them rather than what's right for that particular institution. And I think that actually all those options. So one of my tasks, again, as Secretary of State, is to make sure that we talk about vocational subjects and apprenticeships with as much passion, we should do because we've got high standard, high quality apprenticeships now, as we do about university education.
All right, thank you for visiting our school and doing the interview. We hope you enjoyed your visit to the school.
It's been really lovely to have you.
Thank you so much, it's been great. Thank you very much for the invitation to come and visit you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.